You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your number one source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith. Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Ringer After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Ringer After Show.
Good evening, AfterBuzzers. We are here at the AfterBuzz TV studios, doing things the way things always should be done with Bing. I am your host for the evening, David Schifilliti, joined as always by the lovely and talented Sarah Huggins.
Hello.
How are you doing, lady?
I'm doing beautifully. How are you?
Good. Thank
Happy?
you.
Very
Very
serene.
happy. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy that we were able to actually watch our show.
Me too.
And we are doing Ringers Season 1, Episode 20. If you're just an evil bitch, then get over it.
Best title.
Best title. I think best episode
Yeah, I
of
mean,
the season so
yeah,
far.
amazing episode. I
Right?
mean, like season finale style episode. Like I could have.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
It could have ended
Yeah. And
on this week's episode, and I would have been very happy.
because I was flipping out.
Yeah.
Just absolutely freaking out from second one. So yeah, if
So
it gets better from
good.
here, it'll be crazy. For sure.
For sure. Well, yes.
Before you guys do anything,
Yes, Phil.
Yes.
allow me to say
I
no.
was like,
David
What
does
did
like
we do?
Oz.
What did we do?
You didn't do anything.
I know,
It's
that's the
it actually the
He just
You
wants
guys do-
camera time.
you guys do a lot
Yes.
every week, and in
Yeah.
fact, what David was alluding to was the fact that he'll get more into this in news and gossip,
I
but basically they weren't able to watch their show on Tuesday, and he'll explain the reason why again in news and gossip. And these guys are here Thursday night doing the show because they want to do it for you fans. And all you can do in return for them, because again, they're doing so much work and for free to you guys, rate and comment that on iTunes. That's really what it comes down to. And if you have already done so, tell a friend. Because David, don't you hate when you're like, hey, did you, I was listening to this thing called AfterBuzz TV, and I disagreed with Sarah, right? What do you think? And then, right, isn't it annoying when your friends are like, what are you talking about?
So annoying.
So annoying.
Yeah.
So, you don't want to be that guy. It's uncool. You want to be the cool guy and tell him, hey, I know about a thing called AfterBuzz TV. You should know about it too.
It's true. And even if you don't want to tell a friend or you have no friends,
Make a friend.
Make
Yeah.
a new friend or comment more than once.
Be more than one person.
Be more than one person. Just love us like we love you.
Thank you. That was great.
Sarah
That was great.
has nothing
That was a
to
great
add.
public announcement.
It was
I had nothing to add. You said it so well. Phil put it so amazingly
He
that
did. Very eloquent.
I just had nothing to add.
Very eloquent.
But yes, vote.
Vote.
Because you love us. Rate. You love us. It's the same. Vote, rate. You know.
Let's jump
Let's-
into
can
our
we talk about the
episode.
show?
Let's do
Thank
what
you.
we do best and talk about
Not good
Ringer.
at self-promotion. All right.
This week, last week actually, we ended with Henry in trouble.
Right.
He was taken in by the police and he was being questioned by Tyler's murder, which we know as audience members and you as viewers and everybody, and Siobhan actually, knows that Henry killed Tyler.
Right. I was a little confused about that last week.
I was as well, but he said it was an accident.
Right. This week I feel like they cleared all that.
They did clear it all up. But he did, in fact, kill Tyler. And he's back at the police station telling them basically, I told you last week I wasn't there, blah, blah, blah. There is a witness,
A maid.
a maid, who places him at the hotel, entering Tyler's room at the time that he was murdered. And upon hearing this news, Siobhan sort of goes into...
A very pregnant Siobhan, I must say. All of a sudden, it cut to her, and I was like, whoa. I mean, we knew she was pregnant, but I feel like this is the first time she actually looked pregnant.
Very pregnant. And
Right.
at one point, I thought she was going into labor.
Right.
That's how pregnant she
Yeah,
looked.
no. It was like overnight. We were like, wow.
All of a sudden, she's 8 months pregnant.
Yeah. But she was crazy. She's a little bit crazy pregnant.
Yes. The hormones are going to her.
Yes.
But she sort of goes into like mother hen mode, or whatever you want to call it, schemer mode, and decides that the best way to get Henry off of this...
Well, he gets arrested.
He
gets
get
booked,
arrested, but he gets... He
gets out.
bail,
Yeah.
and she goes to the maid and pays her off.
Right. Which I thought was totally going to work at first.
I did too. I was
Thought,
like,
all
oh,
right,
great.
well,
She paid her off.
yeah,
We're done with
done.
that.
Yeah.
But apparently not. The maid has morals.
Yeah.
And doesn't
knew?
want a wad of cash.
Yeah.
I mean, I would take the wad of cash.
Me too. You would never see me again.
It's a wad
Vacation.
of hundreds.
I mean, yeah, I thought she was gone, but she showed up at the police station.
And hands it in. And I thought,
Right.
for some reason, because it cut to commercial then, and I thought she was going to change her story.
Right. Me too. And say something else happened, and I was mistaken. It wasn't him.
But apparently she gives the money to the police, and the police call Siobhan, who they think is Siobhan, which we know as Briv.
And she names Siobhan, right? She says Siobhan Martin is the one who gave me this money.
Well, I don't know. I didn't see that.
Well, right, because that's why they call Briv.
Right.
How
you
else did they know?
You don't actually see her ever
talking
name
to them.
names.
Right, that's true.
Which was actually very interesting if you think about it, that they immediately thought it was Siobhan.
Because I feel like they did say, I'm trying to think if I wrote it down or not, but...
Henry sort of
Anyway.
explained it when he was talking to Briv when she came to him.
Right.
But we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to it. But anyway,
But
she...
either way, Siobhan is now being implicated as well.
Right.
On top of Henry.
Right.
Which sort of...
Puts a wrench in the plan.
Well, in Siobhan's plan.
Right.
But as far as Briv goes, she has no idea what's going on.
Oh, and she hasn't, I mean, well, I was going to say she hasn't seen Henry in a while, but I guess it hasn't been that long. I don't know. I feel like they're really intertwined at one point, and now not so much.
Yeah, not so much anymore, but they're still, they still have relations.
Right. True.
She is constantly yelling at him.
Right.
To leave her alone.
Right. Well, and it did get a bit scary.
It did get a bit scary. And the way that Henry explained it is that he hired a woman to pay off the maid.
That was a blonde.
That was a blonde, and so the police put it together because they knew about their relationship and sort of just assumed that it was Siobhan.
Which
That's where it got a little confusing.
Well, and she
for
didn't
me.
buy it. She
didn't buy it.
Briv did not buy that story.
No, and she completely saw through
Well, he did.
his lying. She was like, you killed Tyler. He was like, no, I didn't. She's like, I can see it on your face. You're hiding something. She barely knows this man. He already has a tell.
Well, he always looks really guilty. I mean, I thought he killed Gemma for the longest time because he just seemed psycho. Like he, was like painting his place and I don't know.
He has a very guilty conscience.
Right. He acts guilty a lot. So
He does.
I can see how she thought that, but I thought that was kind of good though. And then he just kind of like whisked her out of his home. So
he did, and I think
that didn't
the
really help.
most important part of all of this whole entire storyline is that he eventually blames Siobhan, the real Siobhan, for everything that he's done.
Right.
And he wants to know when it's all going to end. And he wants her to stop helping, because every time she helps him, something else goes wrong.
Gets a little more twisty. Well, and she tells him like it can end right now. We have money. We'll just run away. And
But
he's
I
like,
don't know.
no.
Well, I don't know what she thinks is where they're gonna go, where they're gonna run away to. He's like technically a convicted felon right now.
Right. And I mean, he was like, no. He's like, no, we're not doing that now, because he has kids and.
Right, and he has a conscience.
Right. But was he gonna do that before? Were they just gonna run off together before?
I think so.
But
back when Gemma was her name Gemma or Jenna?
Gemma.
Gemma. Back when she was
Yeah.
alive, he could have technically left with her.
Yeah,
and
but
left the
his kids
with her.
Yeah, I guess.
Not the morally correct thing to do, but it's
Yeah.
a soap opera.
That's true. That's true.
But speaking of the two ginger babies,
Yes.
their return to Ringer, their epic return.
Yes. He was like, "Where are the kids?" And I was like, "Oh, finally, you actually care about your children."
You never remember seeing the children.
Never. And you barely see them in this episode. They're
Well,
like
you
an
saw them
afterthought.
At least you remember that they are there and that he has redheaded twins.
Right. And
they have the weirdest names. Dash.
oh, I didn't even remember that they had names.
The other one had a really strange name too, and I can't remember it. I just remember Dash.
Yeah, they're just like afterthoughts. Like they're just like pawns in the little game that they have going.
In a sense, but they're back in the episode, and he does have like some sort of caring for them, and they're with their grandfather Arbogast, who
they were taken away.
They were taken away by Child Protective Services and given to
Gemma's father.
Gemma's father, Arbogast, who, as we know, has the file and explains to Henry that he sort of figured everything out on his own, and he
hired someone.
He hired someone to follow Henry and sort of retrace his steps for the past year of Gemma's life, and that's when he found out that Siobhan and him had a relationship, and
I was shocked when he said he knew. I was like, whoa.
I was too. I was very surprised. I mean, very...
Yeah, I mean, he just laid it all out. Yeah, and there was like nothing Henry could say or do. He was just like, I'm caught. Like,
right. I mean, what is he going to do? His father-in-law knows everything. His father-in-law knows that he did break his daughter's heart, and it was his quote-unquote fault because he still suspects him for Gemma's murder and blames him for it. And
he said he's going to make them pay. He was like, he threatened them. He said, I'm going to make you and Siobhan pay for everything you've done. I was like, whoa. Like, this is intense.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Brutal.
He was a little scary, I have to say.
But rightfully so.
Yeah.
I think.
Like, I feel like he kind of became a player in this episode, like, never before. Like, he was kind of always there. Like, we've seen him in previous episodes. But in this one, he actually made, like, really big decisions that affected, multiple...
And is going to affect our storyline, I think, from now on.
Right.
And going forward, he's going to be a huge part of the show.
Yeah, I agree. So.
And what we saw mainly was he goes to Andrew with the file. With the...
flash drive.
The flash drive, thank you. And tells him, you know what I have. And you know that I know... Your secrets. But I'm not going to turn you in. I'm going to save Martin Charles.
Did he actually say that to Henry? He didn't say that.
No, he said that to Andrew.
He said that to Andrew.
Yes.
Yeah.
He told Henry that...
He left Henry with a threat.
He left Henry with a threat, saying that...
Scared
I'm going to make
death.
you pay for everything you did. To my daughter, to my grandchildren. I know that you killed Tyler.
Right.
I blame you for Gemma. I know that you were having a relationship with Siobhan. This is the end.
Yeah. Your life is over.
Your life is over.
Dun, dun, dun.
Now, he did tell Andrew that he's going to save Martin and Charles.
How do you think he's going to do that?
That's what I was going to ask you.
Well,
get out of
now
my
you can
brain.
Tell me. Now you can tell me.
What I think.
Does he have a lot of money? Maybe.
Arbogast is like a billionaire.
Oh, so he'll just like pay them off or just buy them or something. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it could be in his
repay all the people
interest to buy the company and sort of reconfigure things.
Right.
Granted,
redistribute the funds.
Redistribute the funds or reinvest the funds.
But then Andrew will basically be his
employee and pawn. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I know not a lot about hedge funds.
Right. But we did educate ourselves a little bit.
We did a little bit. But, hedge funding is still a little bit of a confusing topic.
Yeah.
For me at least.
Yeah, I don't think we need to fully understand it. I don't think
we don't, but it could help in the long run.
Yeah, I was kind of glad about that. It's not that the Ponzi scheme thing isn't really that interesting to me as far as everything else that's going on.
Yeah, and it's good to have another
big player.
Yeah, and especially kind of like a villain too, which is always nice.
Do you think he's a villain?
Yeah, I mean, I
Arbogast?
like Henry.
Are you looking at Henry as a villain or Arbogast?
Arbogast.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't know. I mean, because he's kind of confrontational at all times. So, I don't know. You think he's like a hero in any situation?
I don't. I wouldn't look at him as a hero.
Well,
But I don't really consider him a villain.
I kind of do. Just because I don't really feel like he's like super nice. Like, I don't feel like he's going to buy Martin Charles because he's, out of the kindness of his heart and he's just so generous.
No, I mean, he's going to buy Martin Charles because he has money invested in the company and he doesn't want to lose it.
Yeah, but I think there's other reasons. I don't think that's the reason. I just don't. I think there's like more bigger motives. I mean, I don't know what they are.
I mean, I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Right. 2 episodes left.
There's only 2 episodes left.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think we'll get into that this season.
Probably
but
not.
Hopefully next.
Yes. Yes.
But the biggest villain of them all.
Yes,
gave
your
us
favorite,
The
your
biggest
girlfriend.
shocker this week, Catherine.
Starting from the get-go.
Starting from the get-go, we started the episode out with her. She's in the Martin home.
Listening to the creepiest classical music ever.
No, it was
Yes.
beautiful.
Creepy.
You don't know what you're talking about. I loved it.
Okay. Well, you knew nothing good was happening with
No,
that music
I mean,
playing.
it was very ominous. And Andrew walks in and she's covered in blood. And she's slit her wrists. And it's just genius. Not that suicide is a laughing matter. I'm not saying that.
No, not at all.
But I think that the way she has decided to present herself in this situation was just so epic.
She
and
was
dramatic.
Just so crazy.
The wind was blowing, and she's like, I need to talk to Juliet.
Well, and she, like, you didn't know that she had slit her wrist. She just grabbed Andrew, and then he was left all bloody, and you were like, oh my God, what's happening? I thought she had done something to him. I thought she had, like, a knife in her hand at first or something.
Yeah, at first I thought she had killed somebody.
Yeah,
or hurt
yeah,
somebody else.
or, like, killed Juliet or something. I thought, God, like, this could go
Something crazy.
so many, right.
Yeah.
And thank God it was just herself.
Yeah.
She
Not
didn't
thank
die.
God.
Well, she didn't die.
Well, she didn't die. She's in the hospital, and she's under surveillance.
Right. We find out this wasn't the first time she's done this.
No.
It's a little more severe than the last.
And the last time we find out later on in the episode was when Andrew had decided that he wanted a divorce from her, and she slit her wrists for attention or whatever she had done, pop pills, or
Right.
had attempted suicide before for attention. And this time they're saying that it's a more serious thing and that she needs to be under constant surveillance and she needs to be either committed or
Living with some sort of chaperone.
right at all times because she is bonkers.
Crazy. She has taken a bus to Crazy Town and is not coming back.
No,
anytime
she is
soon.
not. And Juliet, by the way, is not buying it. She
No.
is so harsh with her. And she tells her, she's like, I'm not getting sucked in again. That's basically what she said to her. She literally said, I'm not getting sucked in again.
Well, because she is good. Catherine is really good about being slightly crazy, but like she has these like little redeeming moments, or you think they are, where she's like, "Oh, I'm just like
Right,
mentally
she's
unstable.
a
Like,
master
feel
man-
sorry for me, kind of."
A
know?
master manipulator.
Yeah, and then like she turns around and does something just insane, and you're like, "Okay, you knew exactly what you were doing this whole time." Like,
Well,
you-
yeah.
yeah.
I love her.
I mean, yeah, I know she is
We
a great
could
character.
all learn a lot
She's a
from
great
her.
character.
Don't slit your wrists, though.
No,
That is
please-
not the way to
please
get
don't.
attention.
Or pop pills.
Or pop pills. None of that is good.
Or don't do any of
You
it.
need some
There's
attention.
other ways you can talk it out.
Just talk to somebody, yes.
You can pick up the phone. You can call in.
You can call us.
Yeah, I mean,
There's
clearly
lots
we
of
are
hotlines
very
out there.
sympathetic. Yeah.
There are lots of hotlines
I
out
know,
there.
I know.
Lots of people you can talk
Anti-suicide,
to.
yes, exactly.
Anti-suicide hotlines, the Trevor Project.
I'm trying to think. Oh,
Tell me.
can we talk about it? Can we talk about, well, because I was surprised because Andrew told Briv, because this has to do with Catherine, so I feel like we can kind of talk about it, because Andrew confessed to Briv that Catherine tried to make out with him, which I was
Yes.
surprised by. I thought he was going to keep that a secret.
I did too, and I'm very happy that he sort of fessed up and owned up to that whole situation, and he feels like this episode of Catherine's is sort of his fault because he pushed her away from that, and he got his money back, and then he took her child away, and he sort of feels like he pushed her to the brink. But
Right.
as we find out later, Catherine said that she knew what she was doing,
Well,
basically.
and she says, I mean, it started out being about Andrew, but then she became obsessed with Siobhan and
Right.
ruining Siobhan's life because she had basically everything that Catherine, had before and wanted. When she saw Juliet start to, warm up to Siobhan, then she got even more upset and went off the deep end. So we know
Well,
her beef is really
with Siobhan,
Siobhan.
at the end of the day, because Siobhan has her husband, Siobhan now has the love of her child,
right.
Siobhan has her money,
Right.
or what she is.
She's younger.
She's younger, she's more beautiful.
Yes.
Catherine is a goddess.
She is gorgeous, I have to say.
But this is where we got our title of the episode.
Yes.
And I'm going to
best.
let you read
Really?
it. Yes. Juliet
Okay.
says to Catherine,
She's like, if you're sick, we'll get you help. But if you're just an evil bitch, then get over it. And the mom was like, Catherine was like, oh, honey. It was like mother like daughter. And it's like, she really is just an evil bitch, though. Like, I think.
Well, I mean, clearly. We watched the episode.
yeah.
So did you. Catherine
Yeah.
is completely.
She's just an evil bitch. She's crazy, but I don't think any amount of help is really going to do anything.
Well, if she actually was taking her pills,
Yeah, well,
they could have sedated her.
we know what happened there.
We do know what happened there, but we're not
We'll
there
get to
yet.
it in a sec,
We'll
right.
get to it. Is there anything else important about Andrew, Catherine, or Juliet
I mean, not until
at the moment?
Not until the. I mean, they took her in. Andrew and Juliet
Yes.
end up taking her in.
Juliet sort
being-
of goes to Andrew, her father, and tells him that she feels responsible and she wants to take care of her mother, and that if they could possibly get an apartment with a live-in nurse and to take care of her, or if she could just stay with them for a few
Right.
days and before she can, get her on her feet and get grounded, which I thought it was good for Juliet to sort of have
Right.
these feelings for her birth mother, but at the same time, I feel like Juliet is so naive when it comes to things like this.
Right.
For some odd reason.
Like, she was acting not crazy for maybe 5 minutes, and she was like, I think she's getting better. Like, no, probably not.
I think it was the fact that she saw her in the hospital.
Right. And
That
that can
pushed
be a
her
really
over the
scary thing. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It can be.
So that was kind of it until we get to the bomb.
Until we get to the bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Yep. Alright.
So, Catherine's moved in with them. Briv and Machado, the entire episode, are sort of going over the dealings of what happened in the past, in last week's episode.
Right.
Where Briv was shot at, and they found out they unmasked the shooter.
Right.
And Machado he IDs him and is sort of helping Briv, even though he's still suspended from the FBI.
Well, because she went to him and asked for his help, too.
Right,
He
and
was kind of
she-
apprehensive about it.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
But he does do small favors for her. Excuse me, say something.
No. Hi. I was just looking at where their whole thing started, so I didn't miss anything.
The beginning of the episode.
Oh, well, yeah. But then they went and confronted the tarot card dry cleaner guy. I forgot his name. I just wrote tarot card dry
I
cleaner.
wrote the same thing, and they sort of figured out that they're not laundering money at the cleaners. And that
Clearly.
he's sort of like a hitman broker. That's like what they call him.
Right.
He is sort of like the
Someone.
middleman.
Right.
Between trying to find a hitman, because it turns out that the person that shot Briv was a hired hitman,
Correct.
even though he was like a family man.
Right.
They made like a big point to say that he was a family man and he
had kids and a wife, but he was a hired hitman.
Right.
I
mean, they went to the store owner, and Machado and his former partner, or whoever that guy is.
Right.
They went to him and they basically threatened him and said, well, they didn't threaten him. They said they would work out a deal. They wouldn't, they would get him some sort of light jail sentence.
15 years instead of life.
Right. If he would give up who is trying to kill Siobhan.
Right.
And he basically told them to kiss it, and he doesn't need their help, and he left.
Right.
Which I was like, wow, that was pretty gutsy,
Well, I mean, they don't have anything on him. There's nothing that they can do, which is very smart
That's
of him
true.
to not really say anything. But
Right.
this sort of gives Machado the ammunition to want to go to this guy Rex's house.
Right.
And sort of dig up some dirt. So he does go there illegally without a warrant and breaks in after the wife leaves. Super creepy. And goes into the basement where there's a door on tracks.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really awesome, but why have a door on tracks but have the tracks showing?
Well, and he found it way too quickly.
The tracks were in the ground. You could see them. It's not like it was that hidden.
Yeah, but I don't know. It just seemed a little fishy to me, but that's okay.
I
know why he had to write. Yeah, I know why he had to find it. But I was shocked by his findings in that room.
Well, there's lots of pictures of Andrew, lots of pictures of Siobhan.
But most of them, Siobhan is cut out.
Right, because
he's been walking around with them, I guess, as points of reference.
Because he doesn't know what she looks like, apparently.
Right. Apparently
after the first time.
Right.
But Machado opens the fridge, and the hitman from episode 1...
See, I didn't recognize him right away.
I did.
You did?
Immediately, yeah. Hitman from episode 1 falls
I was hoping
out of
it was
the
Malcolm.
fridge.
I was like, oh, finally. And then I was like, oh, no, that's not him.
Oh, yeah, Malcolm. I totally forgot
How
he
quickly
existed.
you forget. Yeah, we have no idea what happened to him.
For 3 weeks, no one's even
No
talked
clue.
about him.
No clue. No one even wonders where he is.
No.
They're like, whatever. Yeah, who knows?
He'll turn up. But the hitman from episode 1 falls out of the fridge, and he takes a picture
On his camera phone.
On his
Not
camera
incriminating at all. Dead body.
and he took evidence.
Right. He
from
took
the
the
room. He
picture.
took the picture. And he brings it to Briv, and he's like, does this picture look familiar? And she's like, yes, I'm cut out of that photo. This was our Christmas card one year. And he was like, do you know who this man is? And she was like, yes, I killed him. Dun,
Right.
dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. And then she kind of spilled it. And I was glad she sort of laid it all out, because I kind of forgot about, I remembered, when she started recapping it, I was really happy, because there's been a lot of shooting and a lot of...
There has been a lot of attempts
stuff happening,
murder.
So, she goes into that whole thing about the phone. I want you to explain that, though, because it's still a little bit confusing to me.
Is it? Okay, so she explains to Machado that she killed this man out of self-defense a while back, and she hid the body, and then the body disappeared, but she got a cell phone from him, and she had been holding onto this cell phone as evidence, and that this guy Rex had wanted it back. And Machado asked her, why did you keep it? And she was like, because I thought that it could link to the person that was trying to kill me, and I could figure out who it was. And he was like, why have you never told me this? And she was like, I thought it was inconsequential, basically. And he's like, well, do you still have the phone? And she was like, no, the phone went missing. And he was like, where was it? She tells him she kept it in the house, but that's where it disappeared from. And he said, so whoever has access to your house is the person who took the phone, who is probably also the person who hired the hitman.
Right. And then she kind of flashes to who that could have been.
Who had access to her house. So who was it? Olivia had access to her house. Catherine. Henry.
Mr. C.
Mr. C. Although he was only in her house once.
Yeah, but she still flashed to him.
She did, which I thought was weird.
Yeah. She just kind of...
I guess it was all the major players from throughout the season.
Right. Which we know there's really only one major player.
Well, we know who it is.
Right.
We know
clearly.
from last week who it was.
And she's creepily around the corner, and she hears them talking about who it is.
Of course. And Catherine just hears everything.
Yeah.
Looking all creepy, even though apparently she took her medication. It's enough medication to sedate a horse.
Yes.
And
Juliet was
walking
like,
around like nothing.
Juliet was like, Mom, don't forget your pills. It was like 20 sitting there. But before Machado leaves, he says, see, this is what I didn't understand too. Of course, it's TV. But he had that picture with him.
He had the original photo.
Right.
And he sent it off to his friend at the lab who was going to scan it for fingerprints.
Right. He said he was going to do that.
Yes. And see if any of the fingerprints match up with anybody that they could possibly link to who could have hired
Right.
the hitman, because the person who hired it would have had to have
Touched
touched
that.
the photo to give it to them.
Along with probably a ton of other...
Right. I mean, but
people,
of
including him.
course, like the hitman's fingerprints would have
Right.
come up, but he's dead, so
Right.
clearly it's not him. And
Right.
anyone who doesn't have a record wouldn't have come up.
That's true.
But Catherine did come up,
Yeah.
because as we know, she's crazy.
At the 11th hour. It was a gorgeous photo of her, though. It wasn't like much of a mugshot or anything.
No,
it was
great.
quite beautiful. Yeah.
That's what happens when you're beautiful.
Like, you take good photos all the time.
You do. Hello, have you seen the plethora of Lindsay Lohan's mugshots? She looks better in each one.
Debatable.
I'm just saying. Just putting that out there.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
I disagree. I disagree with that statement as well.
I agree.
But Catherine, in the 11th hour, Juliet leaves because Catherine sends her to the hotel to get stuff.
Right, and I wish Briv offers to go with her, and she, Juliet's like, no, stay here, blah,
Well,
blah,
yeah,
blah,
I mean,
with my mom. She needs a chaperone.
It's true. I mean, if Juliet was smart, she would have been like, all right, you go, I'll stay with my mom.
Right, exactly.
But it's TV, Juliet goes.
She has to stay.
Briv stays, and Catherine drugs the tea.
Well, she's like, want to have tea with me?
Want to have tea with me? And she's like, no.
No, yeah. And then she's like, well, she feels bad because, she's crazy. So.
And Catherine's a great manipulator.
Right. And so, she says something like, oh, I just didn't want to be alone or whatever.
Yeah.
So then Briv feels bad and ends up having tea with her, which is just so stupid.
And she chugged that tea
Yes,
like
she
she's
did.
never been so thirsty in her life.
But she gets up and goes, because Machado tries to get a hold of Briv as soon as he finds out that
Right.
Catherine is there. He knows something bad is about to happen.
Right, because he knows that Catherine's in the house.
Right. And so he goes to call Briv, and she's in the other room getting something for
Sugar.
Catherine's tea. Yes. And so Catherine grabs the phone. I was like, I was so angry.
Hides it. He tries
Yes.
the house phone. She's unplugged
the phone like a clear serial killer in the making.
But what was funny is that it was a cordless phone.
Right, right.
It still would have rung. Even
Right.
though it was
Right. That was
unplugged.
pretty great. That was pretty great.
It wasn't like a regular landline.
Yeah. I was like, wow. I was like, that's crazy. I don't know.
It's genius.
Yeah.
But okay, continue. I'll let you continue.
Well,
Sorry.
no. I mean, so she chugs the tea and immediately starts to feel completely drugged out. And she, starts to get up. Siobhan or Briv gets up and she is, she's like getting something out of her purse. What did she say she was going
She
to get?
wanted to get, I don't know what she wanted, but she needed something from her purse. So she got up and
She gets up
ends
all
up
groggy.
in Catherine's purse.
Right.
And finds the phone and realizes that Catherine is
her
the hitman.
hit woman.
Hit woman. Or the person
Hit
who hired
person.
the hitman. What I thought was interesting about this scene, and I don't understand why they chose to do this, when Catherine threw all the capsules.
Oh, that was weird. So she passes out, Siobhan or Briv. She passes out, and, Catherine evilly is lurking there behind her. Right, and she... Well, because they were all empty, though, those pills.
They were all empty,
so
yes.
That's what she put in the
this
drink,
is where,
no?
yeah, this is where I
Okay.
got confused. They were probably sedation pills. Where I got confused was, Briv is a former drug addict.
Right.
Correct?
Correct.
Why did she not notice the minute she took a sip that there was something wrong with her tea?
I mean, I don't...
And why did she not notice when she stood up that she was tweaking out of her mind and not just having a head rush?
Well, I mean, I think she obviously, she could barely see. Like, she wasn't thinking clearly at all. I mean, I don't think when you drink something that's tainted necessarily, like people are roofied all the time and you don't necessarily...
Sure, maybe there's no flavor.
Right, exactly. So I don't think, and she didn't do just prescription drugs before. Like, I'm sure there's a little bit of a difference between...
hard drugs and
hard
prescription
drugs and
pills.
But by pouring all the pills over her, I feel like she was trying to act like Siobhan, took a bunch of pills and passed out or something, right? No?
No, I think
you
it
don't
was
think
just,
so?
No, I think it was just her way of being like, I got you, bitch.
I'm just gonna pour pills on your head.
Well, she's basically letting Siobhan, who she thinks is Siobhan, know what she did.
Right.
At the end of the day.
But that was pretty shocking. I was really scared towards the end.
So good.
Yeah, it was really scary. So, I mean,
but that was the end of the episode. I think that's...
And it looks like it just gets even more scary and crazy.
Next week?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be good.
It's going to be great.
On that note, we're going to jump to a quick commercial break and come back with all your exciting news and gossip.
Oh, yeah, we have lots.
AfterBuzz TV.
Hi, I was once like you, a lazy, angry loner whose only joy was watching TV and surfing the net. And like you, after I'd see one of my favorite TV shows, I'd be so excited and have so many questions that I'd actually have to talk to my douchebag coworkers about it at the water cooler. Then I discovered AfterBuzzTV.com. AfterBuzz TV produces after-show webcasts and podcasts for TV series of all kinds, like post-game wrap-up shows for all your favorite TV shows. AfterBuzz TV hosts are industry insiders who break down episodes of shows, take calls from fans, and interview cast and crew from each series, with over 60 different after-shows, from Boardwalk Empire to American Idol to Vampire Diaries to Real Housewives, and more. Now, after a night of TV, I can ignore my stupid coworkers, who I hate, and go straight to my desk and watch or listen to all my favorite AfterBuzz TV after shows, and have all the TV fan interaction I need. Thank you, AfterBuzz TV.
AfterBuzz TV. What do you want to buzz about? AfterBuzz TV News.
Okay, so before we jump into our real news and gossip, I do want to discuss with you guys why we were not here on Tuesday, and just let you guys know what's going on here in California, IA. So Tribune and DirecTV reach a deal. California-based DirecTV and Chicago-based Tribune Company have reached a deal that restores Tribune programming to the satellite television company's subscribers. Local stations including WXIN-TV and WTTV-TV in Indianapolis and WGN-TV in Chicago had been blacked out for nearly a week while the two sides negotiated the retransmission consent agreement. Tribune Broadcasting announced this evening that it has reached an agreement with DirecTV that will enable DirecTV subscribers to avoid any further disruption in service and to once again enjoy Tribune's 23 local television stations as well as WGN America, Tribune's national cable network. We are extremely pleased to have reached an agreement with DirecTV and to return our valuable news, entertainment, and sports programming to DirecTV subscribers, says Nils Larson, Tribune Broadcasting president. On behalf of Tribune Broadcasting, I want to thank viewers across all of our markets for their support, understanding, and patience during the negotiating process. We truly regret the service interruptions of the last several days. The agreement comes as baseball season is about to open and enables DirecTV subscribers to see Chicago Cubs and White Sox baseball on WGN-TV in Chicago and on WGN America, as well as the Mets on WPIX-TV in New York, Phillies baseball on Phil 17 in Philadelphia, and the Washington Nationals of
I know what a big sports fan you are.
WDCW-TV in Washington, D.C. DirecTV subscribers also will again have access to more than 700 hours of local news, weather, traffic, and sports coverage produced by Tribune's local television stations, as well as primetime entertainment like American Idol, Glee, and New Girl on the company's Fox affiliates, and One Tree Hill Vampire Diaries, Gossip Girl, and Ringer on its CW affiliates. And this is what I'm going to read to you guys what the TV said to us when we recorded our Ringer episode. DirecTV, the owner of this channel, has unfortunately forced DirecTV to temporarily remove it from your lineup despite our repeated requests to keep it on. While we regret their decision, typically disruptions of this sort last a very short time. Please visit DirecTVPromise.com for the latest and most accurate information on this station's return. So we're happy that DirecTV and Tribune have reached an agreement finally, and we can get back to our regular programming.
That was very...
Thank you, Phil. And we're going to jump over to Sarah with some Sarah Michelle Gellar news.
Yes. David made fun of me for this, but I had to do it. The National Enquirer is my source.
Yes.
Freddie Prinze Jr. cancels Mr. Mom duty and Sarah Michelle is not happy. Sarah Michelle Gellar is furious at husband Freddie Prinze Jr. for giving up his real-life role as Mr. Mom. The Ringer star and the former 24 actor have been arguing because Freddie broke their baby pact that he would be a stay-at-home dad and raise their daughter Charlotte, now 2, while Sarah focused on her career. Sarah wasn't happy when Freddie started auditioning again, and she was livid that he got a starring role on a new series, a close source told the Inquirer. Sarah stayed home for the first year and a half, but since Freddie wasn't booking any solid acting gigs after 24, she took the role in Ringer. Now she's been out of shape because their plan was always to have one non-working parent raising their daughter. While Freddie loves his daughter, he's just sick and tired of 24/7 baby duty. And says, while doting dad Freddie is happy about hanging up his apron, Sarah's frantically searching for extra nannies and trying to juggle their different schedules, say insiders. Freddie and Sarah are fighting, especially when he tells her to relax and that everything will work out, disclosed the source. He feels Sarah is acting like a bigger baby than Charlotte.
Oh.
Ooh, drama.
It is drama, but we all know that Sarah does have an on-set baby thingy.
Right, but that's
What is
not
it called?
really nanny.
No. For
Babysitter?
everybody in the cast who has children.
Daycare? Like
daycare,
a-
yes.
yeah.
On-set daycare.
Yeah, but that's
It's not the same. I know. Well,
But
shame
they
on you, Freddie Prinze.
They should both be able to work.
They should be able to work, though. I agree.
I mean, a lot of families have 2 working parents.
Yeah,
I mean,
They'll figure it out.
Yeah, they will.
they'll work it out.
Yeah.
But you're Welsh! Ioan Gruffudd walks the runway for show, celebrating Scottish fashion in America. He plays a posh Englishman in his latest show, and he was an American superhero in the Fantastic Four franchise. And Welsh actor Ioan Gruffudd has now walked the catwalk for a fashion show celebrating Scottish fashion. And top it all off, From Scotland with Love was held at the Liberty Theatre in Times Square, New York. The event marked the start of Scotland Week, which sees North Americans celebrating their Scottish roots. It culminated in Tartan Day on Saturday, when Manhattan's 6th Avenue became a flurry in pipes, drums, and kilt-bearing dancers. Ioan, 38, donned a green and brown tartan kilt himself with a traditional sporran at the front as he graced the runway. It was paired with bright yellow socks and a matching green shirt.
No
Ioan,
photo?
There is a photo.
There?
You can go online
Okay.
and find it.
Check it out.
Ioan is currently starring in Ringer as Sarah Michelle Gellar's husband, millionaire Andrew Martin.
What?
I'm going to skip that. It tells the story of twin sisters, both played by Gellar, one of whom
we
depicts her
know
death.
that.
We know that. But the Welshman is probably best known for his role as Horatian Hornblower in made-for-TV films Hornblower, or as Fifth Officer Harold Lowe in Titanic in 1997.
Oh my god.
He also
yeah.
played as Mr. Fantastic Dr. Reed in Fantastic Four in 2005 and in its sequel in 2007. Meanwhile, James Bond star Sir Sean Connery donated a kilt he had once paraded down the catwalk at the Dress to Kilt event to the Event from Scotland with Love show. The Holland and Sherry kilt he wore in 2009 went under the hammer at auction, the Scotsman reported. Proceeds were to be split between the Cash for Kids campaign, which helps around 100,000 vulnerable children across the west of Scotland every year, and U.S. war veterans charity the Wounded Warrior Project. Other items up for sale included a pair of trews made for Donald Trump, a dress worn by Andy McDowell, a kilt worn by rugby legend Gavin Hastings, and golfing plus fours made for golfer Sam Torrance. I don't know what any of that means. Anyway, moving on.
Fun stuff.
Chris Palaha and Nikki DeLoach's North Shore reunion to be awkward. It's a North Shore reunion.
I was really into North Shore.
Were
Did you watch that?
I have no idea what that is.
Oh my gosh, it was so good. It was about a bunch of people who like worked in Hawaii and like at a resort, and it was scandalous and hot.
Fun.
Yeah.
For those of you who saw Nikki DeLoach pop up on the CW's Ringer, which co-stars Christopher Palaha, and waited with bated breath for them to share a smirk, a moment of recognition from their days in Hawaii, well, obviously you took another breath, or you wouldn't be able to read this right now. The former North Shore co-stars didn't share a scene on Ringer, but the same will not be able to be said when he pops up on MTV's Awkward, as first reported by Entertainment Weekly. DeLoach stars on Awkward as Lacey Hamilton, Jenna's mother, and as of the first season finale, assumed writer of Jenna's infamous letter. Palaha will come in a role I can't read that.
Ooh.
We're going to skip it.
Yeah.
Awkward series creator wrote with him specifically in mind as a man from Lacey's past. There is no word on the fate of Ringer for second season, but Lacey is happily married to her high school sweetheart and baby daddy. So Palaha's MTV guest spot appears to be limited to only 2 episodes right now. In the meantime, Palaha is also filming Michael Rosenbaum's independent feature film Old Days. He plays Len, one of Jim Owens' buddies from high school. Owens returns to his hometown eager to relive his glory days at his 15-year high school reunion after getting all of his friends in hot water with their wives and with his ex-girlfriend's wedding day approaching. Jim must make a decision that will change his life forever. Look for that in 2013. Awkward's first season is available on DVD now, and its second season is set to premiere in 2012 sometime this year. That's the end of that story.
Yeah.
Andrea Roth and J.D. Pardo cast in J.J. Abrams' Revolution. In the past several years, the apocalypse has come in vogue. We've survived a few, and the next, at least believed by some, is December 21st, 2012. As it is often the case, art is a reflection of life, and end-of-times dramas have become popular. Well, more popular than usual. In recent years, we've seen I Am Legend in 2012 in theaters, and on TV, one of the most popular shows is the zombie apocalypse thriller The Walking Dead. Now, the hitmaker J.J. Abrams is tossing his creative hat into the ring with NBC's upcoming drama Revolution. Revolution is described by Deadline as a high-octane action drama that follows a group of people struggling to survive and reunite with loved ones in a world where all forms of energy have mysteriously ceased to exist. Revolution is currently in the casting stages, and as of a couple weeks ago, Giancarlo Esposito from Once Upon a Time was cast to play Captain Neville, a hard-nosed military type, and today, Deadline reports that Andrea Roth from Ringer, who plays Catherine,
The favorite.
and J.D. Pardo from the Twilight Saga Breaking Dawn Part 2 have joined the cast as well. Roth will be playing Rachel, mother to the 2 of the younger leads, while Pardo will be playing a character that is listed as an expert archer. Revolution is created by J.J. Abrams and Eric Kripke from Supernatural, with Jon Favreau set to direct the pilot episode. So I think we should look forward to seeing that later this year.
That sounds exciting.
And that is your AfterBuzz TV news and gossip for the week of April 5th.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Okay, so in the... It's just gonna go on forever.
Yeah. Getting a little
And
scared.
how long do you work here? It just kind of goes.
It just kind of goes on forever. It just seemed
I feel like
longer.
it's usually cut off.
Yeah.
Before that.
No, what? Who's cutting it off?
No one's cutting it off.
No one.
Wait.
is cutting
People
it
are
off.
cutting it off.
No.
No, never. It's just that long.
No one has
we
any
were
idea
just
what you're
forgetting.
talking about.
Just forgetting.
Catherine apparently is going psycho.
Yeah, and I
next
think
week.
she's
I'm
gonna bite the
so
dust.
excited.
That's my
I think
prediction.
next week is her last episode. We only have 2 episodes left of the season.
Right.
And so we have to sort of...
I know. It
makes me sad too.
My heart hurt a little
But
bit.
she apparently puts Siobhan in the tub and starts the water.
Right.
And Siobhan is, as we know at the moment, passed out.
Right. And everyone's kind of rushing in. It didn't show Machado, though. It didn't show
Machado yet, but I thought it was very cool that she was like practicing her like speech, and she was like, I don't know what happened. It seemed like, do you remember Death Becomes Her?
Yes,
when
of course.
Goldie Hawn goes
My
to
God, I
Meryl
loved that
Streep's
movie.
house, and she's practicing, and she's like, what is her name? Is it Helen? No, she's Helen.
I don't remember.
I think it's Madge.
I just remember that one part where her head is like
so
twisted
genius.
around.
Anyway, it seemed very Death Becomes Her to me, that she's practicing in the mirror what she's going to say to the police, and I think it's insane and totally awesome and a great way to sort of set up the end of the season for us, with Catherine going off the hilter and...
Right, and maybe Siobhan will go into labor is what I'm predicting.
Real Siobhan.
Siobhan.
Oh, I think they're going to save that for the last episode.
You do?
So maybe at the end of next week's episode, real Siobhan's going into labor, and...
I think Catherine's going to get killed.
Catherine is going to die or be institutionalized. I can't wait. Hope everyone here at the AfterBuzz TV studios, myself, Sarah, and Phil, have a wonderful night. Thank you for tuning in. Rate, comment, live for us, love us. And we'll see you next week.
Where do they follow you, David?
Oh, you can follow me on Twitter at YouCanCallMeSkiff, and Sarah at
Sarah on the go. Sarah with an H.
Bye.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.